Welcome to Yoga at the Library. We are going to do a class tonight that opens up the legs a lot, and hopefully that will lead to a more open back and spine. Because when you open up your legs, everything's connected, and it helps with a lot of back pain, surprisingly. So you need a chair or a couch. And it doesn't need to be this kind of chair. It can be an easy chair. It can be a couch. We're not going to sit on it. Sorry. All we're going to do is use it to balance and put our hands on it. So we'll put our hands on the seat part, and we'll also put our hands on the back part. So give you a second to find a chair or a couch or some kind of a chair or a couch to hold on to help you balance. And at the end, we're going to put our feet up on it. And just to start class, I'm going to fold my mat in half all the way. So I've got double cushion in just a smaller area. And we'll unfold it once we get through the first little warm-up section. But go ahead and fold your mat all the way in half and keep a chair or a couch handy. We won't need it for the first couple poses, but we will need it throughout most of the second half of the class. I think you're going to like it. So we're sitting on our mat that's folded in half. We're checking in with our bodies. Both sit bones are rooted evenly down into the floor. The spine is extending up. The neck is long. The chin is level with the floor, shoulders dropping away from the ears. Noticing the sides of the feet pressing into the floor. Noticing the fronts of the legs working to keep you upright. Checking in with your core. Are you holding it, using that core strength to keep you up? Or are you letting your posture round forward? Try to sit up nice and tall using those long muscles. And feel your back. Noticing the natural curves of your spine, working against gravity. And then we'll check in with our breath, taking full breaths in through the nose and exhaling all that stale air out through the mouth. A couple more like that, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. We will begin to move with our breath. I'm going to scoot my chair so I don't hit it. We'll inhale both arms out and up. Exhaling down to one side, reaching up and over. Inhaling both arms, come up. And exhaling down to the other side. Warming up the sides of the abdominal area, the obliques, the tops of the hips, the shoulders. Noticing if your sides feel symmetrical or if one side feels tighter than the other. Just noticing, maybe giving that side a little bit slower of a stretch. And we'll meet up at center, bringing the palms together and exhaling the hands down into the heart. Switching ankles, so the opposite ankle is in close and sitting up nice and tall, rooting evenly. Now we'll inhale, bringing the arms on up, and we'll exhale to twist. So twisting, bringing one hand to the opposite knee, Inhaling to get tall through the spine and exhaling to twist. And while you're twisting, you're focusing on the upper back and the neck. Inhaling to lift and exhaling to twist in the opposite direction. So we're not twisting so much into the low back. We're twisting up with the shoulders and the neck, looking over that shoulder. Inhaling up and exhaling down. The more that I learn about the spine, the more carefully I'm learning that we're supposed to twist. We'll inhale, arms up, and exhaling to twist the upper back, the upper spine. Inhaling up, and exhaling to twist. Looking far over that shoulder as you can. Inhaling on up, bringing the palms together, and we'll exhale the hands into the heart. Sitting up nice and tall. We'll wake up those shoulders some more. Taking a big deep breath in here. Exhaling, interlacing the fingers, pressing forward. Inhaling, palms come up. Exhaling, hands come back behind and maybe interlace. Inhaling to lift the chin, lift the heart, lift the hands. And exhaling, hands into the heart. Deep breath in here. Exhaling, pressing the palms forward, rounding the back. Inhaling, palms come up. Exhaling, hands back behind. Inhaling, lifting and opening that heart. And exhaling, hands come back to center. Big deep breath in. Exhaling, pressing forward. Inhaling up. Exhaling, hands come back behind. Inhaling, lifting. And exhaling, hands come back to center. Alrighty, shaking out those shoulders, shaking out the wrists. We're going to make our way into tabletop position. And the important thing here is that your knees are on the mat. If your hands are off the mat, that's just fine. We folded the mat so it could pad our knees a little bit. So that is what needs to be on the mat. That's what the focus is. So we've got our knees right underneath our hips. We've got our hands right underneath our shoulders. And we sat cross-legged for a few minutes, so we're going to open up the backs of the legs gradually. Keeping the neck neutral, so we're looking down at the mat in between the fingertips. We'll extend the right leg long and tuck those toes, pressing back through the heel. Giving a nice big stretch to the calf, the Achilles tendon, maybe even the bottom of the foot. And check if you can to see if your heel is right over the ball of your foot rather than inward or outward. See if you can stack your heel right over those toes, right over the ball of your foot. We'll bring that knee back in underneath the hip and extend the left leg long, tucking those toes and pressing through the heel. Check in, see if your heel is right up over the ball of your foot. Your foot is straight up and down. Even pressure, opening up those big muscles. We'll bring that knee back underneath the hip, getting centered. We'll tuck our toes, both toes, and we'll move into cat and cow. So we'll inhale, lifting the tailbone, dropping the belly, lifting the chin, stretching the front body. Exhaling, rounding up through the back, tucking the tailbone and tucking the chin. moving with your breath, waking up the whole spine. So incorporating the movement of your head as well, really tucking that chin in towards the chest and lifting that chin up on your inhale. Noticing if there are any places that feel tight or uncomfortable. Breathing into those places. Giving them a little wiggle side to side or forward to back. We'll make our way back into tabletop with the spine long and straight. Untucking the toes so the tops of the feet are on the floor. And we'll take the knees a little bit wide, big toes together, and shifting those hips back over the heels. Again, the important part is that our knees are on the mat. And we'll extend the arms long overhead, coming down into our child pose. So we're letting our forehead be heavy down towards the floor, letting our tailbone be heavy down towards the floor. The spine might be rounded. It's definitely lengthening with the help of gravity. And our hips are opening. We'll walk the fingertips over to the right, stretching through the left side, the left underarm. Relaxing through that left side. Walking the hands back to center, then over to the left. Stretching through the right side. Breathing here into that big open right lung especially. Coming back to center. And we'll make our way back up to tabletop. And here I am going to, I guess I'm going to turn the chair like this right now, because we're going to use the back of the chair. So wherever you need to go in your area to get access to the higher spot on your chair, go there. And we're coming into a lunge. So I've got my right hand on the chair, and I'm going to step forward with my right foot. Right, yes. Using this chair for some balance, and we're tucking those left toes. So tucking the toes on the left foot, the back foot, stepping forward with that right foot. Our left arm comes up, and we're using that chair for balance, for a little bit of stability. If you feel like taking your hand off the chair and trying it out, taking the right arm up or keeping the right arm down to the chair. Pressing the hips forward to feel a stretch through that left hip flexor and the top of the left knee, the left quad. And when the arm's up, maybe feeling a stretch through the whole side. Breathing here. Go ahead and lower that left arm down. Come back onto the knees. And I'm going to move the chair to this side just so I don't have to turn around and put my back to you. You obviously do not need to move your chair. So we're switching sides. Now we've got the left hand to the chair. We're going to step the left foot forward. Right toes are tucked. And we'll lift that right arm up. Feeling a stretch through the front of the right thigh, right hip flexor, top of the right knee. And if you're feeling good here, you can take the left arm up too. Notice the difference. when your legs have to balance your whole body, as opposed to when you've got the help of your chair. Pressing the hips forward, intensifying that stretch. And exhaling to release the arms down. And coming so that you have access to the seat part of your chair. And we're going to be kneeling facing the chair. We're taking the knees a little bit wider than hip width apart, just like we do in child's pose. Knees are a little bit wide, big toes are together. And we're sitting back on those heels and taking maybe the elbows, maybe the chin, maybe the forehead to the chair. So we're hanging out on this chair, letting the spine be long. From the crown of the head all the way down to the tailbone. And our legs down here and our hips are adding a whole bunch of weight. And our head is getting to relax on the chair. So we're stretching that spine long, but also relaxing. Letting the weight of your lower body pull away from your upper body. Even letting your belly fall towards the ground. Alrighty, we'll inhale, coming on up. Wiggling out the spine a little bit. And at this point, we're going to unfold our mat. So we've got our whole mat available to us. So go ahead and unfold your mat. Taking up your whole space. And we're going to come into tabletop position. We want to have the chair in the vicinity of the top of our mats. We're not going to use it just yet, but that's where we're going to want it. So the spine is long from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Go ahead and tuck those toes. Walk the hands a couple inches forward. And we're lifting knees, lifting hips into downward facing dog. Walking, alternating heels down towards the floor. Not getting too crazy into those hamstrings. Just waking them up. Inhaling, coming up onto the balls of the feet. And exhaling, pressing both heels down towards the floor. Inhaling, coming up onto the balls of the feet one more time. And exhaling to press those heels down. We'll bend the knees and walk forward towards the top of the mat. Coming into a forward fold with the arms or the hands or the head on your chair. So we're resting some part of your upper body on the chair. And checking in with your hamstrings here. Maybe those legs aren't all the way straight, and that's just fine. Maybe you've got a little bend in the knees, and that's just fine. We're hanging out here, not going too deep into the stretch right away. Letting the back of the neck release wherever you are. And we'll inhale, coming up with the palms on your chair. So we're kind of thinking, it's almost like we're in tabletop position, but our legs are straight. So we've got our hands as close underneath the shoulders as we can. Our legs are strong, maybe a little bent in the knees. And we're lengthening through the spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone. We'll take a big deep breath in here and exhale, bending the elbows and folding down. Maybe your head comes to your chair, maybe not. We'll inhale and come up into extended arms, extended spine. And exhale to fold down again. Maybe you can get a little closer. Inhaling up one more time, lengthening that spine. And exhaling all the way down. We'll take a big bend in the knees and roll all the way up to standing. Standing up nice and tall, one vertebrae at a time. Bringing the chin level to the floor. All right. I think you guys are going to like this one. So we're standing up nice and tall, and we'll start facing the chair. We want to have our toes pretty much in line with the front of the chair. So maybe even a little bit underneath. We want that chair pretty close. And we'll step back with the left foot. The left toes turn out to the side. Our legs are straight and strong. Our right knee is pointing straight towards the chair, straight in the same direction that our right toes are pointing. We'll inhale, the arms come out wide to the side. Taking a big deep breath in here, feeling length from fingertips to fingertips. And we'll exhale, tipping forward, taking the right hand to the chair. And then opening up the chest. Even if you can go lower, we're not going lower. We're going to focus on alignment here. So we've got the right hand to the chair, adjusting that chair if you need to, bringing it closer or farther away. The arms are straight, the legs are straight, the feet are pressing into the floor. And we want to make sure that that left hip is coming back. The right hip, the lower hip, is pressing forward. So we're bringing the body onto one single plane. Using that chair for support. You can stay right here, or for your very last breath here, we can exhale the left arm over the left ear. And then we'll inhale to come all the way back up. And exhale, release the arms. Stepping towards the chair, so pretty close. And we'll step back with the right foot. Coming into triangle on the other side. So the left kneecap is pointing in the same direction as those left toes. Right toes pointing out to the side. We'll open the arms out wide. Big deep breath in here. Reaching into those left fingertips and then tipping down, bringing the hand to the chair and opening up. Rotating the left hip forward and the right hip up and back. Keeping both legs strong. That left kneecap still pointing straight forward, using the muscles of the legs to keep it pointing in the same direction as those toes, protecting the joints. On your last exhale here, maybe taking the right arm over the right ear. And then inhaling all the way back up. Coming to face your chair. Shaking out those ankles, shaking out those arms. We're gonna come back a couple steps from the chair, maybe just like one step from the chair. Taking our hands down to that seat again, extending the spine long. Our feet are hip width apart and parallel. Our hands are shoulder width apart. Fingers are spread out wide. And we're gonna balance here. So we're gonna get strong into that left leg, picking up the right leg and extending it behind us. The right toes are pointing straight down towards the floor, so we're not opening that hip. We've got our hips level, opening. We're lifting that heel high as you can lift it. Getting a big stretch in that left standing leg, hamstring. Little bend in the left knee. One more big deep breath in, lifting that heel a little bit higher. And then exhale to bring the foot on down. Noticing a difference from one leg to the other. Rooting into that right leg now. And we'll inhale to lift the left leg up and behind us. Checking in with those toes, they're pointing straight down towards the floor. Extending the spine long. Making a big long line from the crown of the head all the way down to the heel. Hips are squared. Arms are helping us stay level. Big deep breath in here. And we'll exhale, lowering that foot. And slowly come on up to stand. Shaking out the legs. Alrighty, we're going to do a few sun breaths here, so go ahead and scoot away from your chair so you don't hit it or anything on your way up and down. We'll inhale, taking the arms out wide and all the way up. Exhaling, folding forward and bow. Big or little bend in the knees. Inhaling, coming into a flat back, just like we did with our hands on the chair. Exhaling to fold down. Inhaling to come out wide and all the way up. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Inhaling, the arms out wide. Exhaling, fold forward. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. Exhaling, folding on down. Inhaling, arms out wide and up. And exhaling, hands into the heart. Alrighty. We are going to use the chair. We're going to use the back of the chair now. So if you've got to move your mat, move your mat. If you've got to move your chair. Or you can just come off your mat and use your back of your chair wherever you're at. So we're using, let's see, I've got my right hand to my chair, but you can have either hand to the chair. So we're going to come into tree pose, making a little kickstand with one heel, maybe staying right here, or taking that foot up the inner leg. Holding onto your chair on either side wherever you're at. And maybe, since we've got this chair for balance, maybe you can try to bring the foot up to the inner thigh, maybe. Maybe not. Wherever you're at today. Standing up really tall through that right leg. Checking in with your kneecap on your right leg, making sure that that kneecap is pointing in the same direction as that foot. Maybe you need to use the chair a little bit to reorient your upper body. Big deep breath in here. Maybe taking the arms up away from the chair, just maybe. And exhaling to release it all out. Alrighty, we'll come into tree on the other side, standing onto the left foot, making our kickstand with that right leg. Maybe bringing that foot up the inner leg. Standing really tall and strong through the left leg. Checking in with that knee. Is it pointing in the same direction as those toes, or have you rotated? Trying to keep the body in alignment to protect those big joints. Maybe taking the arms up. Maybe not. Deep breath in wherever you are. And exhaling to release. We've done a lot to stretch the backs of the legs today, so we're going to stretch the fronts of the legs too. Using the back of our chair for a little bit of support, we're going to take the outer leg, hold on to that foot, and give ourselves a nice quad stretch here. And we can stand still here or draw little circles with that knee. Letting the knee go in little circles towards the floor. Just feeling out the four muscles that make up the quadricep. Giving them each a little bit of attention. And then we'll switch sides. I'm going to move my chair to switch sides. Lifting up that outer leg. Holding the top of the foot. And making little or big O's. Lowering that other foot on down, wiggling the toes, lift all 10 toes up, and lower the toes down. Lift up onto those toes, and lower the heels down. Now we're going to, let's see, it depends on where you're at. You might want to use the seat of your chair here, you might want to use the back of your chair. I'll move it closer just so you can for sure see. So we're going to step back from the chair and we're going to come into what is a lot like downward facing dog, except for we're not supporting our weight with our arms. So bringing the hands down maybe to the seat of the chair, maybe to the back of the chair, whatever feels better to you, and letting the hips pull away from the hands. So we're lengthening the spine, lengthening the arms. The hips aren't straight over the heels. They're maybe a little bit back from the heels because we've got this chair that we're holding on to so we don't feel like we're going to fall. Lengthening the spine, lengthening those hamstrings. Maybe once you've been here for a couple breaths, you feel like you could take your hands down to the seat of the chair. Maybe that's a little too much. Taking the hands back up if you need to. Nice full breaths here. Feeling the lungs expanded. And pressing all the stale air out. We'll bend those knees, making our way on up. And then we're going to come to sit facing the chair. So we're going to have the bottoms of the feet together in cobbler pose. And we want to be as close to that chair as we can. So I've got my shins almost right up against this chair. And I'm going to rest maybe I would like to be able to rest my chin on the chair, but I can't quite get there. So whatever you need to rest on that chair, whether it's your elbows, whether it's reaching and resting the arms on there, whether it's the forehead, using that chair for your upper body to lengthen and rest. Adjusting the distance that your feet are away from your body as much as you need to. Finding your pose here. Letting the arms rest, or maybe just the forehead. Not only do we all have different chairs, we all have different bodies. Making the adjustments that you need to find a nice stretch through the back here and a nice stretch through the inner legs. Relaxing the back of the neck and maybe feeling a stretch there too. We'll make our way on up, giving ourselves a little bit of space from the chair. And we'll come into kind of a side saddle kind of seat. So we're sitting on, sitting on the left hip. The right hip is lifted up off the floor, and we can see the bottom of the right foot. So we're left foot, gosh, you guys. So the left hip is on the floor. We can see the bottom of the left foot. And the right foot's over here to the right. Sitting up as tall as we can here. And again, when we twist, we're not so much focusing on the lower back, we're focusing on the upper back and the shoulders. Taking the right hand across to that left thigh and using that left thigh to twist that upper back, looking over the left shoulder. Using the breath to maybe get a little bit deeper. Keeping the twist, we'll take the left arm up to the sky. Stretching through that left side. Little compression in the right side. Breathing here. Inhaling to lift those fingertips really, really high. And exhaling to come on out. And we'll switch sides. Hopefully going to be able to get you into it in a clearer way this time. So we've got our legs rotating to the left. Our right knee is in front of us, and we can see the bottom of our right foot. Hopefully that makes a little more sense. Twisting to the right, using that thigh. Inhaling to get tall, and exhaling, twisting the upper body, looking over the right shoulder. And keeping the twist, keeping the left hand to the thigh, we'll reach up and over with the right, stretching through the side. The underarm, the top of the hip. Big deep breath in, reaching high with those fingers. And exhaling to come on out. Okay, we're going to come down onto our backs with our feet towards the chair. So laying on down, knees are bent, bottoms of the feet are to the floor. The chair is down there by the feet. So we'll just take the knees from side to side a couple times, feeling out the back. Noticing what's going on with the back of that pelvis against the floor. We'll bring the feet pretty close in. We want the feet to be hip-width apart. Knees are bent up towards the ceiling. We'll press the palms into the floor, pressing into the feet, lifting those hips on up to make a straight line from the shoulders to the knees. Exhaling to lower. Inhaling, lifting those hips. Exhaling to lower. Notice if your knees are knocking inward or falling outward, and try to keep those knees hip-width apart, just like where you started. We'll inhale to lift one more time. And exhale, lowering slowly down. So here is where we are going to use our chair in a really nice way. So my chair is mobile, so I'm just going to pull it towards me. You might need to move yourself towards your chair, depending on what situation you've got. But we're putting the lower legs up on the seat of the chair, letting the upper body rest down on the floor. So this is a little bit gentler version of legs up the wall. We could call it legs up the chair. We're going to do a hip stretch here, and this is where you have the option of doing your final relaxation. So we're resting here, feeling the weight of the upper body, the weight of the upper legs pressing down into the pelvis, pressing those hips down into the floor, the low back. Feeling grounded through the back. We'll take the right ankle over that left knee, coming into kind of a figure four here. If you need to get more of a stretch, you can hold behind that left thigh. You can use your chair to intensify the stretch. You can hold your fingers on the outside of the left shin, coming into a more intense version of this pose. Whatever your body needs is where you should be. Breathing into that right hip. Trying to be as relaxed through the upper body as you can. Taking a big deep breath in here and exhaling to release all the tension in the right hip. We'll uncross that leg, bringing both of the legs back onto the chair, recentering the spine. We'll take the left ankle over the right knee, maybe staying right here, maybe taking that foot to the edge of the chair, maybe even holding on behind the right thigh or in front of the right shin, coming into your pose for your left hip. Feeling the stretch in the left hip, making adjustments as needed, listening to your body. Breathing here. The closer that left ankle is to your face, the more intense of a stretch you're going to get. But you should be wherever you feel a nice stretch in that left hip. Big deep breath in through the nose. Releasing all the tension in the left hip out through the mouth. We'll uncross the legs, taking the legs back onto that chair, and relaxing here. Taking the arms wherever it's comfortable, maybe up overhead, maybe out wide to the side. If this does not feel good to you, you can always adjust your chair. You can always come all the way down onto your mat. You can take your legs all the way up the wall. Coming into your final relaxation pose, whatever that may be. Making any adjustments that you need. Coming into a symmetrical position from right to left, where you can relax. And feeling the weight of your body. Gravity pressing those hips down towards the floor. The lightness through the legs, the circulations reversed, but not too strongly. Just noticing a little bit of a different sensation. Lightness in the feet. Allowing the toes to relax. The feet to relax. The calves are soft, maybe pressing against the chair. The backs of those legs got a lot of energy going in our yoga class. Letting them be soft. The weight of the pelvis against the mat. Relaxing the belly, relaxing the back. Noticing how your breaths expand the rib cage and the rib cage presses into the floor. As the belly rises and falls with the breath. The shoulder blades are flat on the mat, allowing the chest to be open. The arms are relaxed. The fingers and the hands are soft. The neck is long. The jaw is relaxed. The face is smooth. Just breathing here for a few minutes, not dwelling for too long on any thought that might arise. to deepen your breath. Taking little movements with your fingers and toes, the wrists and the ankles. And taking as many movements as you need to hug the knees in close to the chest and roll to one side. Making a little pillow with your arm. Noticing the sensations in the legs. Using the arms to come on up into a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. Bringing the hands into the heart. Maybe noticing some space in the shoulders, in the back, in the hips. And we'll close with our 3 deep breaths. Taking a big deep breath in for the world. Arms come out wide and up. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Big deep breath in for our community. Exhaling, hands into the heart. A big deep breath in for ourselves and our chairs. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Thank you all so much. Namaste.